Hamilton comes out onto the racetrack now, and is he going to be ahead of Lando Norris? That's the big key. No, he's not. And there's Max Verstappen right behind Hamilton into the first chicane. Once again, it's wheel to wheel. Hamilton and Verstappen, and this time Verstappen and Hamilton have crashed out, and they are both out as Hamilton came from his pit stop, rejoined the racetrack. Lando Norris was ahead, and in their desperation to stay ahead and to get ahead, the two championship protagonists have taken each other out of the Italian Grand Prix.
What a bizarre incident.
That's what you get when you don't leave the space.
What's your view of that incident between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen?
Well, I think that ultimately it's a racing accident. I think Max earned to be given a bit more space into turn two. But yeah, the contact between the two cars, that's enormously frustrating for us. And I think at the end of the day, you probably got to put it down to a racing incident. I'm sure the other party will argue, the other way. So the most important thing is the halo's done its job today. And obviously very disappointed to lose a car from the race, but thankfully nobody was hurt.
Senna, Prost, Hill, Schumacher. Are we now talking Verstappen, Hamilton?
Look, it's a great rivalry. It's intense. It's very, very tight, and there's still a way to go in this championship. So I'm sure there's going to be ups and downs between now and Abu Dhabi.
But with the heat and intensity of that battle, things are getting a little bit toasty between them. Are you going to have a word with your drivers, or are you just going to go and talk quietly to Toto perhaps to see, look, can we get them to calm it down a bit and stop bumping into each other?
I think they're racing for the biggest prize in the sport, so they know what's at stake. So I think that today I think was, as I say, you can argue both sides. I think that Max earned the right to have more space. So yeah, it's a racing incident. It's a track that's incredibly difficult to pass at. So obviously very disappointed to lose a car.
At turn one, what was your perspective on that moment?
I think I would look back at lap 1, turn 4. I would have probably ended it there and not given way. And then we would have had the crash in lap 1 and not lap whatever it was. I think when you see them turning in there and Max jumping straight over the sausage curb into the car. I don't want to comment. There will be so many people commenting with their opinions like it did before. So the stewards will make a verdict, and I'm going to be okay with the verdict.
Do you plan to have a chat with Christian about this? Because there's there's a lot of friction between your two drivers at the moment. Yeah, it's clear they're battling for the world championship, and we've seen that in the past when it's so tight that these things can happen. Now, looking back into the history of the sport, we've seen these great battles like Senna and Prost, Hill and Schumacher. You remember them all very well. Are we going to see more incidents like this as the season goes on, or are you going to tell the drivers to cool it a little bit? I think the stewards need to tell the drivers to cool, because if we're ending up that one that is behind sees the lap losing and we're in a crash, that's obviously not good. But I think they will have a strong grip on that.
Their assessment was that effectively Lewis had the corner. It was Lewis's corner. And the other element of it was that Max had other options where, as we saw on numerous occasions today, drivers in similar types of scenarios took to the bumps behind turn 2 and then rejoined the track. So that was sort of a combination of those matters, and in handing down their decision, it was that Max was predominantly to blame. So it wasn't wholly Max's fault at all, but that he was more at fault than Lewis in that particular situation. And as we've seen with incidents this year, and following discussions with the teams and the drivers, that if both cars are out, let's call it, and someone is predominantly to blame, a grid penalty will be applied at the following event. Their assessment was that effectively Lewis had the corner. It was Lewis's corner. And the other element of it was that Max had other options where, as we saw on numerous occasions today, drivers in similar types of scenarios took to the bumps behind turn 2 and then rejoined the track. So that was sort of a combination of those matters, and in handing down their decision, it was that Max was predominantly to blame. So it wasn't wholly Max's fault at all, but that he was more at fault than Lewis in that particular situation. And as we've seen with incidents this year, and following discussions with the teams and the drivers, that if both cars are out, let's call it, and someone is predominantly to blame, a grid penalty will be applied at the following event.
There you go. There you go. But I'm surprised. Really, really surprised. For me, Max Verstappen should be looking at criminal charges. Lewis Hamilton's lawyer, and they should be filing charges against Max Verstappen on assault.
Damn right.
Very simple. Assault. This driver, this inept dimwit, Max Verstappen, because that's what he is, a dim-wit, straight line brain, only thinks one way. Soon as you start going another way, his brain will explode. Dim-witted idiot. He's not a good driver. I've been saying it all season. All he is a dive bomber. He's not a good driver. He's not better than Daniel Ricciardo. He's not better than Lando Norris. He's not better than George Russell. He's definitely not better than Alonso. And he's not better than Lewis Hamilton. He's not that good. All he is a dive bomber. He got tortured as a kid by his dad. And now he's all screwed up and all he thinks he can go for is the dive bomb. He's not a good driver. He's not calculated. He's just a straight line, dim-witted idiot. Very simple. Max Verstappen, very simple. You proved it all season, the beginning of the season up to now. You proved it today at the beginning when, look, when you know you can't get to a corner, someone with a brain who was born with half a brain, you pull out. But what did you do? You stupid geek. What did you do? You stuck in there. You knew that he was going to take Lewis Hamilton out. Max Verstappen knew he was going to take Lewis Hamilton out. He knew. No, not even a Mini could fit through. Even that gap, what was left, not even a 1980s Mini could fit through that gap. Never mind a Formula 1 car. You see the size of these Formula 1 cars. They're as wide as a house. That's how big they are now. And he thinks he's going to get his car through that gap. Just like Toto said, it was a calculated incident. He knew exactly what he's doing. Johnny Herbert said it. Respect to Johnny Herbert. I know I've criticised Johnny Herbert over the years. But today at the Sky Sports commentary, he was truly in Lewis Hamilton's corner. Damon Hill. Finally, someone addressed and challenged Paul di Resta. The stupid geek. He shouldn't even be working for Formula 1. Very simple. Shouldn't even be working for Formula 1. Johnny Herbert, Damon Hill challenged him. He was saying there was a gap there. Damon Hill says, I don't think so. I don't think so, mate. How was there a gap? There was no gap there. There was no gap to challenge. And Paul di Resta just sat there, stood there, dumbfounded, gobsmacked, because he weren't expecting one of his colleagues to challenge him. But he did challenge him. He had nothing to answer. You know that, listen, it's pointless asking Paul di Resta for his opinion. It's pointless. He's a secret Red Bull. He's a spy for Red Bull. He does simulator work for Red Bull. He lives by Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen's probably one of his best friends. He's a failed Formula 1 driver. At least Damon Hill's got credibility. At least Damon Hill's a world champion. And that's why he couldn't say nothing. He sat there with his fucking schoolboy jeans. Yeah. He's had them jeans since he was in school. Some high-waist jeans. Sitting there, right, thinking, no, Max, it was a racing incident. Yeah, but it was Lewis Hamilton. And the roles were reversed. And Lewis Hamilton was the one on top of Max Verstappen. I guarantee you'll be saying, oh, that was Lewis Hamilton's fault. This is why someone should get a petition on Sky, get a petition on Twitter, and get Paul di Resta out. He's the most biased commentator in the history of Formula 1. And I've seen them all. I've seen them all come and go. And I'm telling you now, Paul di Resta is not professional. He is a geek. 100% geek. Damon Hill keeps it real every time. When they get to F1 Nation, they're probably going to dial back Damon Hill like they did last time, like they done in Silverstone. Damon Hill come out in Silverstone and said it was a racing incident. There's no way that Lewis Hamilton should ever get a penalty. And a couple of days later, when they've done the Nation podcast, F1 Nation podcast, you can see he changed his tune. Not because he wanted to change his tune. It's probably Sky probably said, look, you need to dial it back a bit. You don't want to look unprofessional because you're siding with Lewis. And I guarantee this happens again. Sky Sports, he was coming out and saying, look, that was Max's fault. Max probably planned it. That's the way he was talking about it. Max probably planned it. There's no way that was Max. There's no way that that Max should walk away without a penalty. There's no way. There was no gap there, and he was challenging everybody. So was Johnny Herbert. But Damon Hill was proper laying into flipping Paul di Resta. And I guarantee when it comes to the Nation podcast, he's going to come out and say, oh, maybe it was equal. Because Sky Sports have told him to dial it back. Because he can't come across like he's more biased towards one driver. But Paul di Resta's biased every week. Have you noticed with Paul di Resta, he dialed it back for a couple of weeks. Now he's back on it again. Sitting there, failed Formula 1 driver. Never won a race in the history of his life in Formula 1. He's pathetic. Who is he to commentate? Someone bring back Nico Rosberg. Please bring back Nico Rosberg. Give him more money so he's more regular on TV. Because this Paul di Resta, he's a stupid geek. I've been saying it for 3 years on my video. 100% failed Formula 1 driver. Failed. No race wins. No podiums. Failed. And who is he to look down on Lewis Hamilton and say, look, and then after he turned, oh, I'll respect Lewis Hamilton. You don't respect Lewis Hamilton. You're a geek. You're jealous because you was linked to go to Mercedes all them years ago, and they didn't pick you, they picked Lewis. They didn't pick you. Bitter man. That's how I look at it. And it just came in that Max Verstappen got a 3 place grid penalty. Yeah, and he got 2 points on his license. Like I said, he should be facing police charges. He should be getting arrested and go to court. Because this guy is inept. He's inept. Don't bother come on my channel and say to me that Max is a good driver. He's a dangerous driver. He's not. All he can do is lunge. Mr. Lunge, that's what I'm going to call him from now on. Mr. Lunge, inept geek. One straight line brain. Thick. Thick as shit. That's all he is. Can't drive, he's just a dive bomber. Nico Rosberg said it years ago. He goes, don't go wheel to wheel with Max Verstappen. It's not good. But you think Lewis is going to back out? Lewis warned you. Listen to me, Max Verstappen. Lewis warned you. He warned you weren't going to pull out. You stupid Dutch geek. Twitter's lighting up. I still saw no one defending Max Verstappen on this one. How can you defend Max Verstappen on this one? Someone get me video footage, calculated video footage, and tell me that there was a gap there for Max Verstappen to get in. There was no gap. There's a gap in his fucking brain, but there was no gap on the track. Inept geek. That's what his name's gonna be. Stupid moron. He's gonna get his 3 place group penalty. He might as well forget with in Russia. You know that's a Mercedes track anyway. And then he takes his engine penalty, probably the race after, and Lewis can start making a bit of gain, some points away, and win this title and wrap it up. Wrap it up! And see Christian Horner make all the excuses he wants. He's been bitching to the steward for years. Toto come out and said, you know what? Whatever the stewards decide, I'm with it. Christian Horner said at the end of the day, it was a racing incident. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, Christian Horner, you fucking geek. At the end of the day, right, you know how I stay. You know how I stay. And for me, look, let's get back to the race. Let's get back to the race. Oh, Christian Horner is a fucking...
Lewis Hamilton is an 8-time world champion. Lewis Hamilton is an 8-time world champion. Lewis Hamilton is an 8-time world champion.
And that's his real hair, by the way. That's his real hair. He covers it up when he comes onto the paddock. When he comes on telly, he covers it up. That's his real hair. That's his real hair from his missus. So at the end of the day, right, if anyone probably, you know what, Lewis come out better today. If Max Verstappen wouldn't have got a penalty, and it would have been a racing incident, then I would have said Red Bull come off better, but they never come off better. At the end of the day, he's got a 3-place group penalty. He's got an engine penalty for coming, so he has to start from the back in the next couple of races. So it's not looking good for Red Bull at the moment. As I see it, it's karma. The majority of Twitter agree with what happened. But a lot of people saying on Twitter he should have got a 5th place or a 10th. I would have went for the 10th place. I would take his fucking license off him. Give him a ban. He's stupid. He's never going to learn. He doesn't learn from Silverstone. He still didn't learn today at the beginning. There were similar incidents, like Michael Massey said for the FIA. There were similar incidents where people were going wheel to wheel and they pulled out. Because that's what people with half a brain do. They pull out. They realise it's not good, it's not worth it. But him, what does he go and do? He goes straight into Lewis. You know why? Because he wanted to take him out. Very simple. Max Verstappen wanted to take him out the race to get him back at Silverstone. To get him back. That's all it was. Stupid little child with his stupid inept dad. He's inept like his dad. His dad was a failed Formula 1 driver. He gets his brains from his dad. Inept geek. And I don't give a fuck if you like Red Bull. I don't give a fuck if you like Max Verstappen. If you got something to say, make your own channel and make yourself heard. On my channel, my rules. If you don't like, fuck off. Very simple. But look, enough of the Max Verstappen thing at the moment. Look, we've got to be paying respect to Daniel Ricciardo. Actually, I'm going to start from the back. The driver of the day for me should have been Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas came in this weekend knowing that he's going to Alfa Romeo next season. He knows he's out of the Mercedes. He gets pole. He gets the best start. And what happens? He got an engine penalty, which he knew was coming, so he has to start the back of the grid. I thought yesterday when they knew that he had to start at the back of the grid, I thought yesterday he still can probably finish in the top 8. Top 8, I thought 8 the highest. And by the way, yesterday my pick was Daniel Ricciardo. I said it for the win. But anyway, Bottas, he knew he had to take the engine penalty, so he was starting from the back. But who would ever thought at the beginning of the race that he would end up getting on the podium? He come from the back. He had the hard tyres on. And it seemed like today that the Valtteri Bottas' car, was faster than Lewis's. The way Bottas was, I don't know how, maybe his setup's a little bit different. Maybe he's gone for a more draggy car so you get the straight line speed. That's probably what it looked like because his car looked rapid on the straights. Because he started from the back and he was just going through everybody like butter. And respect to Valtteri Bottas, he's leaving Mercedes. Me, I would have kept in there another season. Go and watch my video. I talked about it on my Flaming Tarmac episode 19. Everything's on my channel. Go and look at that when I'll go into more detail over Valtteri Bottas. But Valtteri Bottas today was amazing. He should have been driver of the day in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says. He should have been driver of the day. But another guy what stood out for me was Lando Norris. What driving from Lando Norris after that restart? Did you see how he just dealt with Charles Leclerc? It's like he was driving in iRacing. It's like he was driving in R-Factor. That he was at home in his geeky little pad. Driving on his simulator. The way he just passed Charles Leclerc like that. Very easy. Very easy. Very simple. A defo world champion. He gained my respect today. I had respect for Lando Norris before. But today, he gained my respect. I've got likes on Twitter. It's going off. People like my comment what I said about Damon Hill. I said, Damon, let me see if I can bring it up. Everybody's going crazy. I've got to put a tweet up not long ago. I put Damon Hill and Johnny Herbert backing up Lewis. And I go, there's all people liking my comments. Anyway, let's get back to the business. But Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris has got my respect. 100% got my respect. But Daniel Ricciardo today, he was my bet yesterday. I was sitting in my living room with some friends. With some people. And I said yesterday, I might have said it on the qualifying video yesterday, the sprint race one. But anyway, I come out and I said, look, Daniel Ricciardo's going to be my, I got a feeling Daniel Ricciardo's going to win the Honey Badger. He's going to win it. He's going to get a good start because he's a very good starter. If anybody can beat Max in that first corner, if they're going wheel to wheel, see either Lewis Hamilton or Daniel Ricciardo, even Lando Norris. Because Daniel Ricciardo, you remember he was teammates with Max Verstappen. And the reason, in my opinion, the reason why he left Red Bull, because they all favoured Max Verstappen. It doesn't matter what Max Verstappen does. Max Verstappen can push Lewis Hamilton over a fucking cliff. And Christian Horner's going to come out and say it's a racing incident. Guaranteed. He can push him over a cliff. He can push him over the banks here that you see there, over there, and he can injure himself, and he's still going to say,
Lewis Hamilton's an 8-time world champion.
And that's what he's going to say. There's his hair, by the way. But anyway, yeah, he was my pick yesterday, and he got a brilliant start, and he just stayed ahead. He proves how much that McLaren car has improved. Everybody knows about the rivalry between Ferrari and McLaren. Goes back well over 30 years, more than that, 40 years. They're the two diamonds in Formula 1. They're the iconic brands. You got Alfa Romeo, you got Ferrari, you got McLaren, you got Williams, all iconic brands of Formula 1. And Renault, but they're not there now. I know we got Alpine, but it's not Renault, is it? It's got a Renault engine, but it's not branded as Renault. But they're the iconic names of Formula 1. And today, I thought the last race that Daniel Ricciardo was in, Daniel Ricciardo was on top of it. You could see he was gaining confidence in the car at the last race, and now he's at. I saw him in the sprint races, and he was gaining confidence. And I thought this was his weekend. He was getting into it yesterday on Ted's notebook, and he was just a small little interview, and he just said, right, I'm up for it tomorrow. I'm going to be up for it tomorrow. And I knew then when he said it, you could see in his eyes that he was up for it. And I thought he's going to win it. If he can get ahead, because McLaren's got the Mercedes power unit, they can get ahead. I think Daniel Ricciardo will win it. And he ended up winning it. And it was nice to Lando Norris. Lando Norris was gaining on Ricciardo at the end. And his teammates said, look, remember, just drive normal. Make sure you don't make no mistake. That's basically saying stay behind Daniel Ricciardo. Because today, Lando Norris towards the end, I don't know if the tyres, I'm not sure if it was Daniel Ricciardo's tyres, they were kind of wearing off towards the end. But Lando Norris had more speed towards the end of the race. But Lando Norris done the right thing, played the team game, and stayed behind Ricciardo, and they got a McLaren 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And that's how I look at it. It was an amazing race. It was a good top three. Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, and Valtteri Bottas. And at least the positive for Mercedes that they got a few more points on the table in the constructors title. Perez was nowhere. I don't know what's happened to Perez. I had big hopes for Perez. With his new contract coming up, he said he wants to have equal rights, equal cars to Max Verstappen. So if they'll give him that, when next season starts, we'll see what happens. We don't know who's going to adapt to the new cars. They might come out next season and Max Verstappen won't adapt to the new cars. Maybe Lewis won't, maybe Russell will, we don't know. That's what's interesting about next season. It's going to be an amazing season. And Lewis Hamilton, to me, Mercedes are in the driving seat. And the thing about it, what fucking pissed me off as well, was when they crashed, the tyre was on top of Lewis Hamilton's head, literally on top of Lewis Hamilton's head. And what did Max Verstappen get up? He got up, got out of his car, walked past, didn't come over and say, are you alright? Like a normal human being, that with compassion, because he's too thick for that. He just got out of his car and walked off like a stupid idiot. Inept geek. Inept moron. Straight line brain. Not left, not right, not back, straight line. Thick, uneducated Dutchman. And that's what it was. Inept. He just got up, walked away, and didn't even say, you alright, Lewis? Are you alright, mate? Nah, just got up and walked off. If that was Lewis, and the roles were reversed, and Lewis walked off and left Max Verstappen there in the car, and you can imagine Twitter. All the Lewis Hamilton haters were coming out on Twitter and coming in my comment section and saying, nah, look, Lewis can't do, Lewis is out of order. But you don't hear them fans now. You don't hear the Red Bull fans. Where's the Red Bull fans on Twitter now? I can't hear no Red Bull fans defending Max Verstappen. They'll rather just keep the mouth shut. But if Lewis done something, yeah, they'll be coming out on Twitter. Oh, Lewis is a diva. Lewis is this, Lewis is that. That'll be on Twitter. But because they know it's Max's fault, they'd rather just keep the mouth shut. Because you know why? The Red Bull fans are all fucking geeks, that's why. All the Max Verstappen fans are all fucking geeks. That's why. They got no fucking nuts. They can't come on Twitter and say, you know what, I'm a Max Verstappen fan, you know. I am a Max Verstappen fan, you know, but I thought he was out of order. They'd rather keep the mouth fucking shut, that's why. Because they're fucking geeks. But anyway, that's it. That's the end of the review. That's the end of the review. There's the results at the bottom of the screen. It was a good triple header. And yeah, it was a good triple header, man. And it's ended now. We've got a week off now. No racing next week, so it'll be 10 days because obviously the practice starts on Friday. So it's going to be 10 to 11 days to the next one, and that's going to be in Russia. We all know that the Russian track is a Mercedes track. They've locked out that track. They've locked out that grid since 2014, ever since the Russia Grand Prix started. So this is the end of the review. I've just had to rant about it. So we got his 3-place grid penalty and he got his 2 points off his license. Next time, just ban him for next race, because that's what I'll do. So that's it, yeah. That's the end of the review. This is Solo People signing out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Here's my socials at the bottom there. There's the results at the bottom. I'm on Twitch Monday to Friday. There's my Twitter there with Ted Gravitz. That was at Silverstone a couple of years ago, and there's my Twitch channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys and girls. Thanks for the support for over the years. I've been doing this for a while now, but my channel's finally growing. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.